Okay, I think I'm live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream, the monthly pop culture chat live stream. Oh, I'm playing myself on my computer there. There we go. Welcome to the stream. This month even, we're gonna be talking about Comic Con. It's a little out of date now. I'm sorry about that. We were meant to talk about it last week, but I had a horrendous cold. Still got that cold slightly, but it's a lot better than it was last week. You would not have wanted to see me last week. I had, you know, sneezing constantly, streaming nose. It was not pretty. So I thought better to postpone for a week. We'll just be even more out of date than we already were with this stuff. Everyone's already talked about it, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it again. Joining me this time in the live stream, I'm experimenting with the software here. I'm hoping technologically it will go okay, but who knows? Something might go wrong. But we're going to try and bring in some people now to talk about this with me, and those people are here we go, Adam and Reese, aka Adam the Ultimate Whovian and Gallifrey Forever 97. Hello, guys.
Good
Hello,
evening,
Philip.
everybody.
Hello,
Hey.
everyone.
This is the first time I've managed to bring anybody else into the stream, and I don't know how it's going to work tech wise. If there's going to be lag, who knows? Who knows? This is all a learning game. We got some people in the chat already. Benjamin James Miller, Lewis Frisbee, the stylish one, and the stuff 1996 are all in the chat. Hello, guys. We're going to be talking about Comic Con, mostly about Doctor Who, because we are all fans of Doctor Who here, massive fans. That's how we three know each other. But we will touch on some other things as well. I'm a massive Star Trek fan, so we're going to talk about the animation panel, because Star Trek Lower Decks actually started today in the US. We're getting it here tomorrow, the first episode of season 2, on Amazon Prime. But it's out already for, if we happen to, I don't know if we do, any American listeners, watchers. So you might have already enjoyed the first episode. We get to have that delight tomorrow, and any other Comic Con stuff. But in the first of all, how are you guys?
Yeah, I'm very well personally. Yeah,
Yeah.
good to be on. Yeah, it'd be good to recap on Comic Con and discuss. Obviously, we obviously discussed any of the Doctor Who stuff. So it'd be great to get our thoughts on that. But yeah, very well. Very well.
Excellent, excellent. So Comic Con in general, did you follow much of it, other outside of the Doctor Who panel, or did you pretty much just stick to the Doctor Who stuff?
I pretty much stuck to Doctor Who because sort of a lot of the shows and stuff that I like have they sort of already aired their seasons. For example, Rick and Morty, who sometimes have a Comic Con presence, they're currently on like season 5 and they're currently airing at the moment. Even like I should call it the MTU now, like the Marvel Television Universe. That's already
Yeah.
kicking off, and yesterday with What If as well. So none of those sort of stuff that I was into was sort of really promoting anything because their shows are sort of already airing, I suppose. So I suppose there wasn't really need for a Comic Con presence. And sometimes you have like the D23 as well. Because I think like it was last year where they announced like a bunch of like Marvel shows and Star Wars shows and Disney properties and stuff like that. So I think I was all like newsed out at this point.
Yeah. What about you, Reese?
Um, yeah, similar to Adam, really. I've seen there's a couple of trailers I saw. There was a trailer for Legends of Tomorrow season 6 at the back half of that, and
Yes.
also the Army of the Thieves, which is like a prequel to Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead Netflix film. That
Oh,
was that
okay.
was yeah. So I've seen those couple of trailers, but apart from that, I didn't watch any of the panels or stuff like that. But yeah, those are two kind of like publicly released stuff that was released
Yeah.
online.
I actually missed the Legends of Tomorrow Comic Con thing, but I do watch Legends of Tomorrow, so I might have to go back and rewatch the. Was it a trailer they released for that?
Yeah, there's a trailer for the back half of the season. Yeah, for
Yeah,
like the
because
for the
I'm really
episode.
enjoying Legends of Tomorrow this season. Have you
Hmm,
heard the news that they are getting rid of Constantine because
that's what I heard. Yeah.
he's getting the character is getting a new HBO series, which is not going to use the actor that's been playing him for the last several years on Legends of Tomorrow and the previous Constantine series. So they're recasting it, and it's going to be a separate continuity. So they don't want to have him in Legends anymore.
Yeah.
But they like the actor so much, and this is something they do on Legends of Tomorrow quite a lot. They find a way to keep the actor but playing a different character. And I suppose in a superhero world you can do that. They've done that with several of them so far, because they've introduced a shapeshifter who takes the form of a previous member of the crew that had been lost, and they have had like 2 alternate universe versions of the same character, so the actress gets to play somebody a bit different. So they do that quite a lot. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with the guy who plays Constantine.
Yeah, I did hear that news, but I didn't realise it was because of a new HBO Max show, which that makes sense. They don't like to kind of conflict the characters. But like you said, they'll get around anything to keep actors on and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
What you said, Adam, about but there not being that much new stuff. I found that as well, because I kind of went through and looked at all the panels, and I was like, okay, I'll make a little schedule of what I want to watch. And then, of course, I completely didn't have time to watch most of it. But I did make a little schedule of it. Let's see if I can find it. And there was barely anything that was new stuff. It was mostly kind of panels, some interesting panels, but like panels just talking about stuff that had already come out, or panels that were just talking about like themes and things that weren't about a specific show. Like there were ones about I think it was like what was it? There was something about comic books. I'm going to find the list. Let me see if I can find the list, because here we go. So yeah, there were things like how is power of fandom changing Hollywood, a panel on that and things like that, and a panel on podcasting, which I probably should have watched because I do podcasting, so that might have had some good tips. Do those kind of panels interest you guys at all, or would you just be interested in like the ones about shows you watch?
For me, probably just shows. Like, I guess, like for you, for example, that's a pretty cool thing about the podcast. If someone was interested in me about, like, if I was an editor, for example, I'd be like jumping on that or post production. But no, yeah, mainly with the big comic cons like that, I usually like stick to just the footage. But if I was like at a comic con, it would be a different story of like if there was like a cool little panel like that, I'd probably just go sit down and watch it. But because it's virtual, I guess different.
Yeah, I think also for me, it'd be the people on the panel. If there was like a recognizable like face, or somebody who was like, if it was like the head of Adobe, or the head of, I don't know, like the kind of the people that you're kind of like, oh, they, I'm quite interested to hear what they have to say about a certain topic or anything. Then I'd follow just the person that'd be on the panel.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I said, there were so many of those that I put down and then just didn't end up watching. I think I ended up watching a bit of the Power of the Fandom is Changing Hollywood, but then I ran out of time. I watched obviously the Star Trek one, which we're briefly going to talk about. Did either of you watch the Doctor Who comics panel?
No.
Ooh,
did you know there was one?
No,
they clearly didn't promote that very well. It was run by I think it was moderated by one of the guys from Titan Comics, about Titan Comics. So they were focusing very heavily on the Missy comic, which is currently, I think, just released its 4th issue last week. I think 4th and final issue. They're doing a little mini series on thing. There wasn't much new information in there. It was kind of more a behind the scenes look at like how the comic came together and what the different writers thought about it and things like that. So it was interesting, but there wasn't any new information about upcoming comics, if you see what I mean. It was all about what had mostly already been released.
Gotcha.
So, but it was, that one was interesting too. So I watched that one, and I did watch one about the new Lord of the Rings TV show as well that's coming to Amazon Prime, which looks quite interesting. So
is that where that like first image came from?
That didn't come from that panel, actually. They didn't. I don't think they had it then. They released, I think that was only released last week, that first image.
Okay.
So they were talking about it, but they didn't have any trailers or images or anything on the panel. They were just sort of talking quite broadly about it, which is a shame. When you got something like that, it's always a shame when you don't get at least one thing, an image or a trailer on a panel. You kind of want that. In the chat, we've got some more people popping up to say hi. David Kent, hi. Emma Hughes, hi. Jace, says hi. Jace is in the UK and has already seen Lower Decks, even though it's not out tomorrow here. Well, to tell a secret, so have I. But and I've recorded a review which will be out tomorrow. We won't talk about how me and Jace, and I'm sure many other people have already seen it, but it's yes, review coming tomorrow on my channel. Arkham Ben 17 says that he's not a fan of the Arrowverse. Personally, finds it too cringy. I can see why in some places it feels a bit cringy. In many ways, Legends of Tomorrow is the cringiest of them, but for some reason it works so well with Legends of Tomorrow because they don't take themselves so seriously. What do you think, Reese, as a viewer of it?
Yeah, it's just if you treat it like sort of fun, don't take it too seriously. I usually have a laugh watching it, like just some of the wacky stuff they do. Is that is like peak cringe, I guess. But I think it's a balance throughout. I think, but
sometimes some of the other shows. I think this latest season. I don't know if you watch the rest of the Arrowverse shows, but I think the weakest for me this season has been the Flash, which just hasn't been it's been quite bad, I would say, this season. And I've really liked the Flash in the past, so it every show has their off seasons, and for me, the Flash is one this year. But there we go.
It hasn't. I've been loving Superman and Lois.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Amazing.
That is probably the strongest season of an Arrowverse show we've had since season 2 of Arrow, I'd say.
I agree, definitely.
It's just so good. Telly. If you do you watch any of the Arrowverse stuff, Adam?
Do you know, it's funny, I've watched season 1 of Arrow, and then I think I did really get lost because of probably the episode count and then the amount of shows that was spawning from Arrow. I did find it hard to catch up at a kind of a point. But I suppose in a way, I sort of have the MTU. I'm calling it the MTU now, but that's just going to be the way it's going to be phrased right now. That sort of got less episodes that feels a bit more condensed and feel more focused. I think for me, I feel like, the 8-6 things that Marvel's going for, that's like that kind of suits me more. And I'm already connected with the MCU that I sort of,
there is so much TV to keep up with these days. I fell off of watching the Arrowverse for a sort of year or two. And then they did the massive big Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover a couple of years ago, and I just knew I had to watch that. I needed to watch that. So then I did a massive catch up, and I had so much to watch to catch up because I'd gotten behind by a good at least season and a half by that point where I just stopped watching it. So I've kept up since then in case there's another big thing like that I want to watch. But if you want to try and check out anything from the Arrowverse that is accessible without watching the rest, I would definitely recommend Superman and Lois because you could easily it barely connects it. There's one episode which has any relation to the rest of the Arrowverse, and you don't even really need to know much about that. It's just one character that happens to turn up from the rest of the Arrowverse, and that's it. It's completely standalone other than that, and it's really good. So I definitely recommend anybody check it out. Apparently we're lagging according onto the chat. Sorry guys, like I said, this is a bit of an experiment. My poor computer probably not handling it too well, but never mind. Just in the chat, Benjamin James Miller asks, who's your favorite Doctor? So who's everyone's favorite Doctor? Adam?
All right. It's always a difficult one to answer, but I suppose if I really had to pick, it's Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor. It's a popular choice, I know, but I think I love how alien his portrayal is, and just I suppose the iconography is there, but he's like this, I think I'm attached to more alien. I suppose he's a tall man with curly hair, and I'm a tall man with curly hair. So I suppose that just figures. I just really enjoyed it. And Tom Baker's performance. Even in a terrible episode, could just like grab you. To be honest, like you just any day. I'm up for Tom Baker, the Fourth Doctor.
Okay. Oh, Tom Mason is exposing us once again by saying Superman and Lois is not available in the UK yet. So how did I watch it? Oh no! But I've got psychic vision and just know that it's really good. Hi to Charlotte is in the chat as well. Hi, Charlotte. How you doing? Did you watch anything on any Comic-Con stuff? Let us know if any of you guys in the chat have watched anything of the Comic-Con panels from a few weeks ago. As it's probably almost a month ago by now, and that we haven't talked about, but you want to talk about briefly. Let us know in the chat. We will be moving on to Doctor Who very soon, but let's first of all just quickly talk about Star Trek. You guys aren't massive Star Trek fans, I believe. You don't follow it particularly.
Kind of
right?
more. I watched the odd episode of the original series and sort of bit and the Abrams films and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but not sort of watched everything from the canon. No.
Yeah, fair enough. So at Comic Con they had a panel specifically about the animation, because one thing that they've been doing, they're already one season deep into Lower Decks, which is an adult orientated animation, and they've got Star Trek Prodigy, which is going to be on Nickelodeon and aimed at kids, coming up soon. So they had trailers for both of those on the panel, and I said to you guys, go check those out, so that we can maybe talk a little bit about them. Did you watch both of them, or did you just manage to catch the Lower Decks one?
I watched both,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah,
Did you-
because go on, sorry.
No, I was going to say, Adam, did you watch them?
Yeah, well, I catched the Lower Decks one mainly for Jack Quaid, who
Yes.
you know, I really like. He's Huey in The Boys, so you know I sort of watched it mainly because I was like, oh, he's great in The Boys. So, and he's usually, you know, in like behind the scenes on Instagram, he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. What did you think of the trailer?
Oh, sorry, Reese. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like wait, like who's gonna go first? I really loved it. I didn't realize it was an adult show. I was kind of watching it as like I thought it was a kid show. Then as it started playing, I was like, oh, this is like kind of a bit like Rick and Morty vibes, slightly. Probably not that extreme, but no, I thought it's a cool premise to have like, you mean not the main cast of like who's controlling the Enterprise. I thought it was a cool idea, and yeah, it seems like a lot of fun actually. So.
Yeah, well, funny you
yeah.
should say Rick and Morty there, because the showrunner of Lower Decks is a writer from Rick and Morty, so it definitely carries over that kind of vibe from it, and a bit of like, you know, just other adult animations like Family Guy and American Dad. It's got that kind of feel to it, but set very much in the world of Star Trek, and it's, you know, canon, and so they have to kind of keep to some rules, but they do a lot of referencing back to previous stuff, meta jokes and all that sort of stuff, and I really enjoyed the first season of it, and this trailer got me excited for the second season as well. Has it made you want to watch it, watching the trailer?
I'd say so. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Because I like Reese. I'm a fan of Rick and Morty, and I like that kind of adult sci-fi cartoon comedy. You know, that's kind of up my alley, really. So I think, yeah, and it seems quite accessible as well. Like it, you know, it doesn't require too much sort of Star Trek knowledge or lore to go into it. So I feel like I'd feel like catching up before season 2, because I did that with a show called Solar Opposites, which is another sort of sci-fi adult animated comedy. Season 2 was coming out of there, so I catched up on that. So I think I'll probably be doing the same for Lower Decks.
Yeah, excellent. Well, season 2 starts tomorrow, so if you got a lot of catching up to do tonight.
Yeah, like canon with the Arrowverse, it's a bit like there's obviously like the Star Trek Netflix, and I was a bit kind of like, which one do I watch? But
Yeah.
Lower Decks might be the
Start with Lower Decks. I mean, it's got a lot of references back to old Trek, but in a kind of like just like jokey references type way. Which you might not get if you're not familiar with the episodes they're referencing, but I think they've put it in a way that it doesn't matter, that you like, if there's a joke you don't
good.
understand because you haven't seen anything, it's not going to put anybody off, I don't think. But you'll just get more out of it if you happen to be familiar with the stuff they're referencing, that's all. But definitely,
I was going to say, the way you described it sort of reminds me of the Lego Batman movie, where, you know,
yes,
in that movie they sort of make jokes about the Batman movies and kind of thing in a sort of jokey animated way, and that was done really well. So yeah, very curious.
Yeah. I was going to try, and I was playing with this beforehand, I was going to try and bring the trailer up and then we could go through bits of it to try and guess. But the technology failed me on that. I haven't worked out. I'm still getting used to this streaming software and I haven't quite worked out how to do that yet. So we'll have to leave that for another time. In the chat, let's just check. Lewis has a question for us all. If you had one bit of merchandise that you didn't, I don't know, if you had to have one bit of merchandise that you don't own, if money wasn't a problem, what would it be?
Oh. I'd probably say that there's like the Doctor Who Big Chief figures, which like they're a bit like Hot Toys, like really detailed, like quite a few £100 for like each figure,
Yeah.
or like statue, whatever you want to call it. But that'd probably be the one
I'd probably go for like an 80s Cyberman helmet. I think that'd just be great. Wear it around the house, I think that'd just be really cool. Just going, excellent.
I'd like one of the bronze Daleks, full life-size bronze Dalek that I could just have in the corner of a room. See, the only problem is that money isn't the only issue there. The other issue is getting it past my wife.
And find the space.
Yeah, and the space. Yeah, but though if money wasn't an issue, I'm assuming I could just buy a bigger house to put it in. Money's not an issue. Yeah. Lewis also says he, in terms of Comic-Con, he watched the Doctor Who panel and the Lord of the Rings panel and the Star Trek panel. So basically the panels I watched. So that's good as well. One thing I was going to ask you guys is, do you wish we got more panels like they get in America over here? Because the Comic Cons that we've been to over here, the panels tend to be very looking back on things. You never get any panels announcing things at UK cons, probably because they don't get as much like press and stuff at them as the big ones in America do. But do you wish we could have sort of like at least British based shows announcing stuff at British Comic Cons?
I think if the platform was there, yeah, definitely. It'd be cool if it'd be cool if like Doctor Who did like it for like London Film Comic Con or something. But there is quite a lot of I guess British like shows from Britain and that, which would be quite cool to.
Yeah, I suppose it would either be London Film Comic Con or MCM. Which one do you think has the sort of best profile to?
I'd say MCM, because I think the closest me and Reese have been to this panel was a panel for the Doctor Who animations.
Yeah,
and that's when they announced like the next animation. At that point, it was Fury from the Deep.
Yeah.
So that was, and they were sort of, and it was sort of, the announcement was going everywhere. It's going to be on Twitter and everything. So even if you weren't at the panel,
that felt like being
at
San Diego Comic Con,
you saw the trailer and you knew what was going to be there if you weren't at the panel. But it was quite cool to see like some of the stuff, sort of there as well as it was happening.
Yeah, being like a big room with everybody, like experiencing together. I guess that's what San Diego Comic Con is, a Hall H and that. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be cool if they could build up the Comic Cons. Yeah, I think MCM is owned and ran by the same company that I think runs the big American ones. Although I might have got that wrong.
Yeah,
but I think it might be. So I suppose that is again for that reason the most likely one that would get something like that. I suppose in these times though, when their Comic Cons are all just on the internet, it doesn't make any difference where they theoretically are based, because they're online.
Anybody can see them. Yeah.
Yeah, which is something I suppose we didn't get beforehand. We didn't get streamed. Did we? I don't think we ever got streamed panels before. You had to be actually at the con. So it would. I wonder if that's going to continue.
I remember when it was the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who. I think because they showed the trailer for Day of the Doctor there, and like I remember sort of the big sort of we need to see it. We need to find a way to watch the trailers, and I think they had Dave Bradley there also promoting Adventure Space in Time, and I remember like the buzz around that. And even I think the first time Doctor Who went to Comic-Con, I think it was like David Tennant. It was around the time of the specials, and they were like showing stuff. Yeah, so like I remember sort of the hype of trying to find a way to watch the panel and also like the trailers that came from those panels.
Yeah. Just looking at the chat again, Matt says, I've been waiting for a re-release of the Masters Laser Screwdriver for years. I'm guessing this is in relation to the question earlier about what would you buy if unlimited money. If there was a brand new one on eBay, I'd pay stupid money, or ideally a really good replica. Yeah, laser screwdriver. That's cool. See, I'm not a massive figure collector or anything like that. I've bought the occasional ones, and actually, I'm quite tempted to buy the new set that's coming out with Ian and the Vord in, because I love the Vord. So I might pick up that, but I'm not a particularly massive figure or like things like Sonic Screwdriver collector. I've got a few of them, but I don't go
Yeah, I
out
was
my
looking
way to
just
get them.
yeah, I was just looking over there because I do have like all the Sonics and I do see laser screwdriver here. So yeah,
Oh, so you've got it.
I do have it from
Meeby Matt's going to be very
2007.
jealous now.
Yeah.
Right. This is I'm going to ask this question, but we may need to ponder it a while and come back to it. Benjamin James Miller says, if you put each Doctor of the Revival era in a classic Who story, which would you pick? That's going to take some pondering. I don't know if I can do that off the top of my head.
No.
Maybe we'll come back to it later. If you think of anyone at any point, just shout it out.
Cool.
Right. So I think that's probably everything about non-Doctor Who stuff in terms of Comic Con. Let's talk about the Comic Con panel, which we got the trailer for. And in fact, if I switch modes here, I think I can play the trailer. I think I've set this up to work. Let's
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Let's see if it works. Hopefully, you'll get the audio as well. Let's find out. Oh, I don't know if that's playing the audio or not. I don't know if it is, you know. It's just playing the pictures. Oh no, hold on, that's why. All right, hold on. As I said, I'm getting used to this technology. Right, let's turn that off and turn it back on again. And this time, I think we will get the audio.
Get inside!
Whoa.
Will you be hearing that? Let us know in the chat if you can hear it, because I can't.
I'm the Doctor. This is Raz. This is Dan.
No way.
Hiya. You're hiding something.
Oh no, it's...
Get inside!
Whoa.
Any questions? No? See you soon. Don't forget to click below and subscribe.
And there we go. So that was the trailer. Sorry, I spoke over a bit of that because I wasn't sure it was working, but I think it was, so it's all okay. I couldn't hear it through my headphones, but when I had I'm watching the stream as well on another computer, and it worked on that, so that's okay. Yeah, that was the trailer we got. What do you guys think of the panel overall?
Yeah, it was great to see John. I thought join the fold. I think obviously he's a stand-up comedian, so I think he kind of thrives off that kind of presentation thing. But yeah, we got some cool little details, like some little teasers, not too many spoilery stuff, and yeah, some cool images. Obviously, introduction to new character and stuff. So yeah, I thought it was a really good panel. Yeah.
Adam? Oh, Adam's frozen.
Oh.
Adam has frozen. Oh no, is he back? Hello, Adam. Oh no, Adam is frozen. We'll come back to Adam.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really good too. It was yeah, John was a delight to see, and I really like Chris Chibnall was there, and he was basically not saying much. Every time he was asked a question, he basically avoided answering it, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
And then also every time like one of the others wanted to say something, you'd see them like look over to him. Oh, my screen's gone funny. Hold on. Look over to him, and then and he would
Yeah, kind of giving the approval, I guess, wouldn't it? Being
Yeah.
like, oh, is it? Can I say this? Can I even say? Yeah, that was funny seeing this. Say that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do that instead. I'm sorry. I'm just working out the technique because Adam dropped out of the chat. It rearranged my screen. Hopefully, it'll pop back in a minute.
I think he will. I think he will soon. Yeah.
We'll we'll keep going. So where were we? Yes. So it was interesting to watch. It was interesting to see their dynamic. John seems to be kind of gelling with the other two quite well, I think.
Yeah, I think obviously they've been filming for. They obviously, I think when they recorded that, obviously it's like pre-recorded. They'd obviously been filmed quite well. So yeah, obviously there's quite a lot of stories they shared, like behind the scenes stuff, which was I thought a lot of fun as well, actually. Like you said, just showing that bonding stuff they've had through filming and
Yeah.
But obviously being different as well with the COVID thing. Obviously with they said it was like the first time they've been for a meal, like in outside of Doctor Who, because obviously the COVID restrictions and that. So
yeah. Let me just hold on. Adam's back, so we can
Yes.
put you back into this view now. Oh, he's gone on to landscape mode. No, portrait.
Right.
Yeah,
mode.
I have. I had a blip.
You switched to your phone.
Yes, yeah. I think it's better this way.
Fair enough. It's a clearer picture, so that's good.
Oh, there we are.
HD.
There we go. Let us know in the chat as well what you thought if you watched the Doctor Who panel. What you thought of it? What did you think of what did you think of seeing John for the first time? What did you think of how they were gelling together? I think especially Jodie, she's a very sort of welcoming person, and I think she's got that kind of personality that seems like she could get on with almost anyone. So I think that that she probably welcomed John with open arms as well, and they seem to be getting on quite well. They did reveal. We got some nice because last time they did a Comic-Con panel, we got like just before it was last November or something when we got the pictures for the upcoming Christmas or New Year's special at the time, and there was only 2 pictures revealed, and everyone was kind of like, "Is that all we're getting?" That was the only bit of new information. Well, they had a lot more this time, so. We got images, we got just sort of random bits of information thrown in, like we now know Dan's surname, which I've also now just forgotten. Can anybody remember what Dan's surname was? I know they said
Lewis.
it. Lewis, that's it. Dan Lewis. And sort of some words, some random words. Like the one thing Chris Chibnall did say that was kind of new information was the word swarm.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Put your guesses in the chat, please do. Let us know what you think swarm could mean. And we got some pictures as well. So we got a picture of a brand new character. This guy, which I will bring up on screen here. Vinder. That wasn't the picture we got. Let me see. Where's the picture we got? That was from the trailer. Where's the picture of Vinder from that they revealed? Oh, I can't find it now. It's in here somewhere. Flying thing, trailer, image. Vinder, that's the one. Hold on. Let me get the one up that they revealed. So this is the image they revealed of Vinder, who is apparently a new character. We don't know much about him. And what do you guys think of this guy from what we've seen so far in the trailer and this picture?
I really like him. I think Jacob Anderson on the panel came across really well, and he had worked with Jodie on Broadchurch, and him being a Doctor Who fan, getting to be a part of the series, like I enjoy Passion. I'm just looking forward to seeing what this character has to offer, what role he plays in the grander scheme of things, whether it's remnants of something that's returned or not. I'm up to sort of seeing how he meshes just with the general scheme of things. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him.
Greece?
Yeah, same kind of stuff, really. I think he came really across well in the panel. I think there was a quote of him saying like how he used to watch Doctor Who like VHS and crying at like Day Return Even and stuff. So he's like a proper Doctor Who fan probably at her heart. But no, interesting character. Seems like a really cool like action hero, and
he's got that kind of Han Solo vibe to him a bit, doesn't he? He's got that kind of slightly swaggering anti-hero type feel to him.
Space Rogue.
Yeah, Space Rogue.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. He's got that kind of feel to him. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with him. If he's links into some people we already know, maybe something to do with the Time Lords. Maybe he's a time agent. Maybe he's maybe he's the Doctor. Who knows? You never know at the moment.
He's another master or
Yeah,
another Rani.
could
or a
be.
Tesseract.
Could be anything.
It could be literally anything. He could be one of the timeless children doctors. Who knows? Who knows? But he definitely looks interesting, and I'm looking to see. I'm glad he's going to be in multiple episodes as well. That looks quite good. So yes, I'm just going to go back to the chat because we've missed quite a bit of the chat in there. What have people been saying? So just going back to diverting from this topic slightly, just to go back to the chat. Somebody in the chat earlier asked the question about which modern Doctor would you put in a classic story. Some people have been answering that in the chat. Arkham Ben says I'd put the 10th Doctor in Sharda. Terence says I'd have Capaldi doing Sharda. Yes, actually, yeah, Capaldi over Tennant, I think, doing Sharda. 13 in Caves of Adrazzani could work.
Do you know what?
Oh.
It's funny because that was going to be my choice because I suppose
Okay.
it's quite topical as well with the announcement of Jodie departing at the end of 2022. I thought I'd quite like a Caves of Adrazzani kind of story from her where the Doctor's really challenged and put up to this because Caves of Adrazzani is a really awful like society and everything's this planet is sort of like crumbling around and everything like that, and it's this epic heroic kind of exit for the Fifth Doctor, and I thought that'd be quite nice for 13.
Yes, definitely. TARDIS Elliott Trailers is stretching the definition of a revival Doctor, but says McGann in Genesis of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Benjamin says put the 9th Doctor in Revenge of the Cyberman.
Yeah.
And Terence says 13 would work in a lot of them because Series 11 is basically structured that way. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Oh, Jace wants to know, do you guys have your own YouTube channel? Sorry, this is very rude of me. I should have let you plug your stuff at the top, shouldn't I? But yes, what have you got anything to plug? Where can people find you?
Yeah, I have a channel called Gallifrey Forever 97. You can subscribe to on that, and yeah,
Where you do some absolutely fabulous fan trailers. They are
thank
some of
you.
the best fan trailers I've seen on the internet.
wow.
They really, I love the music you use and everything. It just times it perfectly. Brilliant.
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah.
Adam, you used to have a YouTube channel. I don't know if you still. If
I
it's still active.
upload every now and again, really. just what at the time is sort of what I sort of enjoyed sort of talking about. Really, I think my last upload we were talking about. Me and Reese were talking about season 24 because that was the box set had come out at that point. So it's strange because it's always my channel's always like I talk a lot about those box sets as well, just because I have a passion for talking about the trailers and the content, everything like that, and they're so lovingly put together that it's just fun to sort of celebrate a random season of classic, whichever season gets released on Blu-ray. Talk about that, and what I did last year was sort of a retrospective of what happened in the year. Me and you, Phil, were talking about Time Lord Victoria, so it'd be quite fun to maybe revisit that later in the year because I really enjoyed doing that series.
Yes, yeah, that was good. That was a great chat. Yeah, so I don't think you mentioned the name of your YouTube
Oh,
channel.
sorry, I am Adam, the Ultimate Whovian.
Adam the Ultimate Whovian, yes. And Gallifrey Forever 97 is Reese. So do go check out and subscribe to both of them. Going back onto the topic of the panel, TARDIS Elliott Trailers says they were a bit underwhelmed. They say, I probably sound like a miserable git, but I found the whole panel a bit underwhelming, sadly. I think the downside of being really secretive is that they can't give us much to get excited for. Yes, I can see, I understand. Yeah, I get what you mean about there being secretive. That has been an issue, I think, of this era. But actually, this panel, I mean, it's the most they've ever given us in the Chibnall era in one go, I think. So for me, it was enough. I mean, I get why people maybe wanted to see a monster or two in the trailer, but it didn't bother me that much personally that we didn't see that. What about you guys?
I suppose I think it's fun to sort of, because in the trailer you had a lot of out of context stuff, And we can be like, well, what's all this about? Like, for one bit that stuck out for me was when Yaz was like, oh, you're hiding something. And because it's kind of suited with her doctors in series 12, it was clear that 30th Doctor was obviously hiding and holding a lot back from her companions. And it seems like, in this season, it's going to continue to happen as things develop. So, sort of just from context, really. So I think, I can kind of, I think it's, I get what they mean, but at the same time, there's neat shots that out of context, it's like, oh, what could it all be about? It's sort of, we just fill in whatever gaps of context we need. We're Doctor Who fans,
I think because of like I said, I think because we had so much this time, it did feel like a lot. Because obviously with past ones they haven't, and like I said, the monsters and that, I think they like to. Like last year, a great example of Series 12 was the haunting of like Villa Diodati, like monsters that you don't know they're going to be in the episode, like the Sideman thing. That was such a cool reveal and stuff. So obviously they don't like revealing monsters in the trailers for that reason, I think. So,
and I get why if they've got returning monsters, they don't. If they've got things that are gonna deliberately set up as a surprise in the episode, then they wouldn't want to reveal that in the trailer. It's like we complained massively as fans when they revealed that John Simra's returning in a trailer, and now we're complaining that they're not revealing stuff. It
never
seems
happy.
like we just like fans as a general are never happy. But there is probably an in between where they maybe reveal, because I'm pretty sure there can't be like a massive twist reveal every episode for the monster. So maybe there are some they could show, and like there's already been like set photos leaked with the Sontarans in, so maybe they could have put in at least one decent shot of a Sontaran, because most people know they're gonna already be in it, so it wouldn't have been spoiling anything that people didn't already know. I don't know, but then again, it's only a teaser. We're probably going to get another trailer before the series comes, so in which case, why not like save that stuff for the bigger trailer, the one that's not just a teaser? I don't know.
Agreed.
Let's look at another photo, because they had one other photo which was of the fam. So if I bring that up on the screen, the new fam with Dan. I wonder if she's still going to call them the fam, or if that's now gone with Graham and Ryan.
I think it's almost sacrilege if that happens, because I think the fam was very much with Dr. Yaz, Ryan, and Graham, like to sort of do that without those two, but then with Dan additionally, I think that's kind of sacrilege.
Yeah. Oh, on our topic a second ago, TARDIS Trailers has added that I should add that I'm happy for the secrecy. Fans like us will watch regardless. It's the casual fans they need to win over. I suppose your TARDIS Elliot is saying that to win casual fans over, you need something. You possibly need some monsters in there. I don't necessarily think that's true, but maybe it would help. I don't know. I think more the sort of feeling of excitement, and the pace and the kind of feel for the tone of it is more important for winning people over personally. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think as well with this season as well, you obviously got a new introducing John Bishop, who's obviously that's going to bring his fans over, and so that's quite a good hook of a new companion, I think, for a series.
Yeah. Jace wants us to link the channels. I don't know if I can edit the description while we're on air, but what I will do is add the links to your channels once the playback.
We're done.
Yeah, once we're done, and it will be up on my channel as a you can watch back. You can then go into the I'll add it to the descriptions for that. Sorry, I should have thought and added them in advance, but I again, planning not my forte here. I'm learning this stuff as I go. Just looking to see if there's any more on the chat. More excited for the goodwill of Series 12, and an odd to announce Jodie leaving a couple of days later. Yeah, that's a good point. Why do you think they did that? Why do you think I think that they just didn't want to overshadow, or they wanted to give people time to discuss this stuff. And if they'd announced her leaving at the panel people that would have been the whole of the conversation.
Mm.
So that's why I think they didn't announce it at the panel. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. Because, like you said, if that was announced with that, everything would have been overshadowed, and they would have been that discussion would have then gone to who's the 14th Doctor, who's the new showrunner, and not about the current show. But yeah, it was quite shocking to have it in such a short space of time. Whether it was going to leak or they have to release it there and then,
maybe,
I don't know.
because I would have thought they would have left it even because it was only a few days later. I would have thought they'd have maybe left it maybe a week afterwards, because actually keeping Doctor Who being talked about is a good thing for the show. So maybe have the panel let the talk about that start to die down after about a week or so. Although here we are a month later still talking about it, and then maybe release this information. But like you say, maybe it was going to leak anyway. Maybe they thought it was going to get out, so they just got ahead of it.
Like you said, I think that's a good point you made actually, with it being, like it's in the people's minds of like Series 13 news. And, oh, by the way, at the end, a few days later. But yeah, it's quite a short space of time.
Yeah. So this picture, they're in the same location, it looks like, as the other two. I like the fact that they're stood kind of like ready. What was it? John Bishop said something funny about this photo, didn't he? He said the other two look like they're standing there ready for action, and he just looks like he's kind of the chump that's just kind of wandered up behind them or something.
Or like a darts player or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Play darts with your uncle or something.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's yeah, but I don't think he looks too bad. He looks like he belongs there. I think the most interesting thing about this photo, though, is where they're standing and what they're standing on. Because to me, and I said this in the video I made afterwards, that looks like it could be the seal of Rassilon they're standing on there.
Could well be.
Do you think, or do you think I'm crazy?
I'm enjoying the conversation, because I like sort of analysing that background and sort of, is it similar to this or how does it correlate? But
we'll pick up the
it could be they could like have redesigned the seal of Rassilon, or it could be a completely different seal. It could be the seal of the
I did see somebody in one of my comment sections suggest it could be the seal of Omega instead. Who knows? But let us know in the chat if you think that's the seal of Rassilon, and if you don't know what the seal of Rassilon is. No shade on you. You can't know everything.
No.
Even if you're a Doctor Who fan, it's the sort of symbol of the Time Lords, because it's Rassilon, who was the so-called founder of the Time Lord Society, and got resurrected in the new series in the form of first Timothy Dalton and then Donald Sumter, and he's the Time Lord president, founder of Time Lord Society, and that's his seal. So it appears throughout the show in various guises. And I think it looks like that. In fact, I wonder if I did prepare so I can bring it up on the screen what the actual seal of Rassilon looks like. So if once the I'm looking over on my screen and it's behind. So once it pops up, we can look and see if we think there you go. If it looks similar or not. I see it's got those curves at the top. I think it might. It could be.
I think they've cleverly positioned them, because if it is, they've stood them exactly where the line should cross. So
yes,
I wonder what Rassilon's up to, because last time we saw him, he got kicked off his own planet.
Well, that's a good point.
Where is he at?
That means he wasn't there when the Master came and killed all the other Time Lords and turned some of them into Cybermen. So he's out there. He could return. I think they should do that. I think they should do like a Vengeance of Rassilon story.
Yeah, like flashback to him going out to Gallifrey being like, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh no. Getting that kind of like what Jodie had in Spyfall, realising it's been yeah.
Yeah. Right. Going back to the chat. Terence says, yeah, I love those Gallifrey Forever 97 videos. They're done really well.
Oh, thank you, Terence.
It's how you see the show hasn't really changed over time. Yeah. And he also says, he's replying to somebody else who must have mentioned, I must have missed that one, but somebody must have mentioned Krasko possibly coming back. and he's saying he doubts it.
Ah.
I would. That's a bit of a loose end because he got sent to prehistoric times. I would like to see Krasko come back somehow. Although he was quite one note, he worked well in that story, and I think they could develop him as a villain more if they brought him back. So,
I don't
Yeah.
know. Because I suppose because a lot of the villains in series 11 did sort of get away.
Yeah.
And the Bating sort of flew away, but then the next time we saw the Bating was in the prison in
yeah.
Revolution of the Dark. So I don't know whether all the villains just end up there at some point.
Because
Like-
they did have there was a fan theory going around that at the end during series 11 that at the end of series 11 all the bad guys were going to unite against the Doctor, wasn't they, in a kind of like Avengers Assemble but in a
Yeah.
bad guy way.
What I would have loved for series 13 if it was just at the end of Revolution of Darkness, all the monsters have got out, and it's up to the Doctor and Yaz and Dan to sort of collect all the monsters, at some point, just like throw them back in prison or something. I
Yeah.
don't know, just that would be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Terence also says if they bring Rassilon back, I'd like a proper story with him, not to just have him show up and rile the Doctor for 2 minutes. Yes, completely agree, because I loved that stuff in Hellbent with him facing off against the Doctor. That was some of the best bits of Hellbent. And then they kind of just went, okay, he's banished. And that's when the story, because I don't mind Hellbent, but the best part of it is definitely the first half for me. And I really wish they'd, if not done more in that episode, followed up on it with, like, he's got to be very resentful of the Doctor now, and it would be good to see him want to take revenge or something and come back and have like Terence says, have a proper full like story about him as the villain.
Yeah, it'd be good like repercussion of the Doctor's actions, going like
Yeah.
this hell-bent form of being like kicking off and that.
Yeah. Jay says, I'm hoping the 6 episodes are standalone but linked like the Key to Time arc. So that was another reveal we haven't talked about, that this is going to be, they referred to it as one story told in 6 parts. So I would say, to me, that sounds like it is going to be one story. But I don't know, what are you guys hoping for in terms of, what do you think that might mean, or what do you hope it means as in terms of being 6 one story?
I am hoping it is linked. Obviously, there was in that as well. Obviously, it'd be like a cliffhanger for each episode in that, which is exciting. I think it'd be good to. I think with the 6 episodes, I think it's a good opportunity to make it like a Netflix thing, like must watch TV. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you need to watch.
Or more like, Torchwood Children of Earth type
Exactly, yeah.
one story. Yeah.
It'd be cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to get like, I guess, individual episodes, individual stories, but it'd be good to make it. Have this. Oh, we've got the opportunity now to do it. I think it'd be good to do one through line.
Yeah.
Missions.
I think somewhere in between, like the kind of Torchwood Children of Earth model, where it literally like is one story, and something like Key to Time, where it is very different stories, but they're linked by having something they have to do in each story. Yeah. Somewhere in between that might be quite good. So something where you can just pick up an episode and still watch it, and there is a beginning and a middle and an end to that story, but it does form more of a part of the bigger story than say the Key to Time did, where often it was like, oh, and at the end of the episode we better grab that key, that bit of the key.
Yeah, so, throw ending. Yeah,
somewhere in a bit in between, I think, is my preference.
Yeah, I think he described it as like chapters, didn't he? So
yeah,
I guess like goes into more of a, yeah, but I know what you said. The middle ground would be quite nice.
And then I think it was later on that, was it later than this, or did we find it out in the panel that there would be 6 episodes and 2 specials and then an extra special? That was like,
I believe that was
later.
The Jodie announced when they were leaving. I think they announced there'd be, they said they originally were going to have 2 specials, but they added a third one for the BBC 100th anniversary as well.
Yes. So I think they're probably gonna like wrap up that story in the second special, and then and then that final episode will be kind of standalone. That's what I'm thinking they're probably going to do. But obviously, I don't know. TARDIS Elliott trailer says they'd love to do it be like Doom Coalition, which is one of the Big Finish 8th Doctor box sets or series of box sets, where it's effectively one massive story pursuing a rogue Time Lord called the 11, but they had time for individual focus stories within that. Yeah, I think so. I'd love to see, I saw someone else tweet about this earlier, I think, that they would like to see a focus story on Yaz to give, like, really delve into her character a bit more. I think they were, I can't remember if it was the tweet I saw or replies to it, but putting a bit of doubt that was going to happen because of the fact that this is just one story, and will there be time for that? And they've got to introduce Dan. So, you know, hopefully they'll have time to develop all the characters enough.
Yeah, hopefully that if they do that, just do that for the whole, like if it's one story, give her like a good arc throughout, it'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, if she has an arc as part of that overarching story, that'd be quite good. We watched the trailer earlier, but let's bring up a couple of stills from it. We got another one of Vinder there. We've got the one underneath still. Is that the same? Do you think that's the same place as he has in the other one? I'm not sure. It might be. Looks like some kind of temple or something. We're speculating now. Just random speculation. Is that actually? If I back up that newfound one, are the walls the same? No, a bit different there. So it's not the same as the walls. But can you guys see this yet? This Vinder image?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so he looks a bit worried there.
he lets out a whoa, which is like a very sort of Keanu Reeves Matrix kind of whoa.
Whoa.
This is heavy.
Or Owen Wilson. Oh no, he's his wow, isn't it? Wow.
There was no wow in Loki.
No wow in
I was
Loki.
so sad about that.
Very disappointed. Maybe they're saving it for when he eventually gets on a jet ski.
Yes.
Yeah. Has to be done.
Yeah, so we got that one, and then the other one I got, which was I grabbed out of that, was this image of them flying on something through a very green landscape, some very, I don't know, rock formations jutting out of the ground, and they're flying around on it. Can you see this yet?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you think this is the same place as we got another shot of like these machines with spinny things on and like drone type things? Do you think this is the same place and possibly the same machines or something different?
I assume they're chasing, like those robots are chasing them on that flying machine, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
I think it's probably the same scene. Maybe.
I hope this scene isn't too short because it looked very action-packed, and it looked like it could be quite an exciting scene. So I'm hoping that, but Doctor Who budgets are always a bit constrained. It looks beautiful. I mean, I think it in the trailer as well, it looked fantastically done. So I hope they have enough money to make it last long enough so it's not just like a split second to like I hope it's not just what we saw in the trailer and that's the extent of that scene because it looks so good. And one thing I will say about the Chibnall era, while I think sometimes the color grading, especially in series 12, wasn't looked a bit muted sometimes, the cinematography and the framing and everything looks very cinematic. And I think the aspect ratio has worked for it really well.
Yeah, there's some really beautiful shots, and like you said, cinematography. Every episode has looked amazing. So yeah, it's great to see this kind of cinema style continuing.
Yeah. And yeah, that's kind of. Am I missing anything else from the panel or the trailer that you want to talk about?
I think generally it was just a really enjoyable, like I really like the synergy like between the four of them. I like that Jodie I think joked is that Chris, you're the king of the cliffhanger, aren't you? Jeez, man. Like I think
That was
I think
another
her
thing. Yeah,
knowing what was coming up. Yeah.
they kind of hinted that there's going to be cliffhangers at the end of every episode, which I am really looking forward to because it's kind of what I was hoping when Series 11 started, and we got that first cliffhanger of them teleporting themselves into space and then leading into episode 2.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, oh, is this going to happen a lot? Because I really like this kind of episodes. I want some gaps because I want somewhere for the novels and the big finish to fit in. But just for like at least half the episodes or more, or slightly more, even maybe 2/3 of the episodes, something like that, to directly lead into each other in a kind of very exciting must watch next week to find out what happened cliffhanger way.
Yeah.
Would be something new for the show. So I'm quite glad that they are hinting that they're going to be doing that.
Yeah, like you, that was something I was hoping for with Series 7. I love that cliffhanger. It was really shocking myself, and I was ashamed they didn't continue it throughout Series 7. But yeah, it'd be good to see that style of must-watch type thing hopefully go throughout.
Yeah.
Series 13.
Yeah. In the chat, Terrence says they'll one day love a series in which the companion ultimately betrays the Doctor and they have to face off. Yeah.
Ooh.
The closest I suppose we've come to that in the modern era is the face-off between the 12th Doctor and Clara when she stole all the keys. That wasn't her becoming a villain, but it was her betraying the Doctor in a way. And he has a lovely line. What was it about betrayal there, isn't it? Does he think...
Oh, do you think I care if you so little that betray me and make a difference or something
Yes,
like that?
that's it. That's a lovely line. Love that one. Terence also says Chibnall's era has come with a better budget for each series. I don't know. I haven't seen the budget sheets, but but maybe because the episode count has gone down again. Maybe
Yeah.
it got the same budget, just spread over less episodes. I don't know. Who knows? I don't think they give out that information, do they?
Probably not.
Probably
No.
not. But there we go. I think that's pretty much everything to discuss. Thanks, guys, for coming along and chatting Comic-Con with me. Let's switch back to this one.
You're very welcome.
Oh, my pleasure, yeah.
And don't forget to go check. I will put these guys' YouTube channels in the description after the stream ends, so you'll have to come back onto it and why not watch the whole stream again? And if you are still watching, I don't know why you do that, but if you are still watching, don't forget to hit the like button as well. Go do that. That really helps. And if you haven't already, go subscribe to these guys. And I'll be back next month for another monthly pop culture chat live stream. Haven't decided the subject yet. If you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments on this video. Not the chat, the comments, if that makes sense. And yeah, we'll be back soon. Just one question. I just saw something in the chat come through, so I'll just say that before we go. Chris Bailey says, I fear we may be nearer to the end of Doctor Who than we were 2 years ago. Well, we're always nearer to the end of Doctor Who than we were 2 years ago. That's just how time works. Because inevitably, when it does end one day, even if that day is 20 years in the future, we are closer to it now than we were 2 years ago. That's just how time works.
Logic.
But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. See you next month, hopefully. And yeah, bye-bye.